Welcome to the Stop Over Drinking and Start Living podcast, where high-achieving, goal-oriented rebel women come to learn how to live a vibrant and fulfilling life without requiring alcohol to get through it. No labels, no judgments, no saying you'll never drink again. Just real proven methods to help you stop rebelling against yourself with alcohol so you can drink less and do more. I'm your host, Angela Mascenik. Let's dig in. Welcome to episode 242, Letting Yourself Feel Like You Are Missing Out. Hello, hello, hello. Can you all believe that we are starting September? It's a new month already. Summer is over. Who's feeling like ignited or motivated to start a new routine? Me. Kids are back to school. I'm just feeling like this is a new season, right? A new season. I want to focus and be very intentional about how I spend my time. Right now, that's sort of like the season that I'm in. I had a lovely summer. You've heard all about it in all these previous podcast episodes. If for some reason this is the first episode you're ever listening to, you should go listen to my Sober versus Drinking in Las Vegas, that's number 234, or my Sober in Napa plus Creating Space, number 236, and then number 238, Post Vacation and Back to Normal Tips, okay? And you will get all of the info of what I've been doing this summer. And so now, since I've spent so much time with my family and my kids and really shown up and been present for them, I'm ready to do that just for me. Not like I'm going to put my kids on the side table or back burner and ignore them, but I'm ready to be intentional with my goals, with work, with my personal life, with my health. And so I'm really excited about that. I've missed having some intentionality into my day. I've got 3 kids, so there's a lot of moving parts all the time. And if I don't be intentional with my time, I can get kind of caught up in running from thing to thing to thing, right? And at the end of the day, I'm like, oh, I didn't really do anything to move my goals forward, right? So my season right now in this sort of late summer, early fall is creating a practice of self-care, creating a practice of having priorities in what I want to do in my work and some other things, and managing my time very well. And so when I do that, I actually get a lot more extra time to be a little bit more loose when I set my intentions for the day. So I'm excited about that. But what I really wanted to talk to you today about is this idea of letting yourself feel like you're missing out. Okay? So often I hear from people, and this is what I used to think, is that if I don't drink, I'm going to be missing out. If I don't go to that party, I'm going to miss out. If I don't have the sweets or the candy or the special treats or the food or whatever, I'm going to miss out. If I don't say yes to this thing, I'm going to miss out, right? So whatever that brings up for you, what do you feel like you might be missing out on? I talked about a recent invitation I received to go to an event. And part of it was that specific event wasn't great for me. When I go to that specific event, I don't really feel awesome. And there's a lot of people and there can be a lot of conflicting messages. So I ultimately decided not to go. And I knew that I actually would be missing out on some fun. That was actually a truth. There's be some fun moments there that I would be missing out on. And that was kind of a bummer. But when I look at the big picture, right? I'm willing to feel like I'm missing out and feel that sort of bummed out feeling for a little bit versus going to that situation and then feeling uncomfortable for days and days and days after it and even at the event. The trade-off isn't worth it, right? I'd rather feel bummed and missing out for a little bit, maybe a few minutes, maybe a day, versus the length of time that I would be uncomfortable and have negative emotions if I did go. Okay, it's a little bit similar to what I was talking about in last week's episode called Discomfort Now or Later, right? I'm willing to feel a little uncomfortable on missing out on something that I want to do. And just, what does that feel like? Yeah, I'm bummed that I'm not going and I'm okay with it. Okay, that's it. Versus being like, I'm not willing to feel that. I don't want to feel this urge. I don't want to feel the discomfort of not having this piece of cake or this glass of wine, right? And so I end up ingesting those things, and then I'm way more comfortable, way more in discomfort the next day, right? So it's similar to that. So I want you to think about a social situation that you might go to, that maybe is coming up this weekend, or maybe it's a trip that you've been planning, right? And you don't want to drink. Okay, let's just pretend like you're not going to drink at this thing and you don't want to. But you're also scared of missing out. And often, if we don't learn this skill of like letting yourself feel that missing out feeling, right, that you're going to be missing something, we focus on what we're missing, and that becomes all encompassing, right? And we don't have a good time. So if you really are stressed out about missing out, and that's going to become what your brain focuses on, and when you go to the event, you'll be thinking about everybody else is drinking around me, and everybody else is having more fun, and blah, 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 blah. And you'll stay so occupied about that you'll actually be missing out on the fun of the event or the conversations that you could be having, or enjoying your friends, or whatever the activity is, right? But if you go in willing and knowing that, yeah, I might feel that way for a couple minutes, and it's okay if I feel that way. Totally different experience, right? Like you just kind of accept that you're kind of missing it. Yeah, kind of missing out on that for a second here. What does that feel like for me? And usually it's just like, if you think about the physical sensations of that feeling, it's maybe you're feeling like a little achy in your heart, maybe an emptiness in your stomach. Maybe your mouth is watering. Some very slight but totally like manageable physical feelings that you're having. Okay? And you just take a couple deep breaths and you're like, yep, I'm acknowledging that I'm missing out right now. Right? And then it passes. When you allow and accept what you're feeling, it passes. If you resist it and you freak out about it and you're like, no, I don't want to miss out, I don't want to not have this experience, that becomes a way bigger problem. And that's when we start to white knuckle, we start to battle with ourselves in our own mind, we start to judge ourselves on why we made that decision in the first place, and you're a grown-ass adult and you should be able to do what you want, and then we end up drinking. Okay, so I'm suggesting that the next time you notice yourself questioning or worrying about missing out, that you're like, what if I just let myself miss out on that thing? What does that feel like? Instead of resisting and fighting with yourself about it, right? Y'all are making decisions to cut back on your drinking. And this is part of the process, is sometimes it's like, yeah, I'm kind of missing that right now. It's not a problem. It really is not a problem. You don't need to change the way you're thinking. You don't need to tell yourself lies about how you're not missing out. Sometimes you're just accepting that, yeah, I'm missing out on that. That sucks. And then you move on and you allow that stuff to come through. You give yourself some space for it. And then your brain's going to be on to something else because you're not fighting with yourself over and over and over again. Okay? There's lots of examples that we can use this from. So not just with drinking. Once you start doing it with the alcohol, letting yourself feeling that loss, right? You can start doing it with other things. A lot of you guys overschedule yourselves. You have way too many social engagements. You overwork. You've got way too much involvement with your kids' activities. You're saying yes to your in-laws and your parents and all the time and requests of energy that people ask of you. You're constantly doing too much. And when you start to do this work and cutting back on your relationship with alcohol, you need to be aware of all the things that you got going on in your life. Okay? And so what I teach you and coach you through, if you work with me in any capacity, whether it's private coaching or in my membership, Alive AF, I'm going to start to help you set boundaries for yourself. I'm going to teach you how to say no to things so that you can focus on yourself. And so sometimes this concept will apply to, you get invited to go out on a Thursday night after work, right? But really saying no to that is probably better for you than going out and stressing yourself out, because you've been running around all week already. You've been working long hours. You've got a lot going on with the kids, whatever your situation is. Sometimes it's like, it's a no tonight, guys. I just need to rest. And doing that, you're going to feel like you're missing out a little bit, right? And that's okay. Imagining all of your friends getting together and sitting around a table and talking and connecting and laughing and drinking. And when you think about that and you think about yourself sitting at home, probably going to feel a little missing out, right? It's okay. Let yourself feel that. Let that come in. Take a few deep breaths and remind yourself, I'm missing out on that. That's okay. But if I were to go, I would be missing out on taking care of myself. I might miss out on a good night's rest. I might miss out on honoring the commitment that I had, that I wasn't going to drink, right? And like tending to myself. So all of those things I would miss out on if I decided to go to this event. So I'm choosing to feel a little loss about not going to that thing for the opportunity to gain so much more that I'm not going to miss out on. Does that make sense? So we'll start small with, saying no to alcohol, letting yourself feel like you're missing out, or maybe it's a little deprivation. That's okay. I'm willing to pay that ticket, right? I'm willing to pay that small chunk of emotions that, I don't really love, for what comes after, is that's being in alignment with who I want to be, the relationship I want to have with alcohol, and how I take care of myself and show up in my life. Okay, so I'm willing to pay that bill, right? I'm willing to invest into feeling uncomfortable there, in that missing out or feeling a little bit deprived of something, versus what would happen if I didn't let myself feel that. Okay, so moral of the story is here: let yourself feel like you're missing out once in a while. Okay, it's okay to say no to things. It's okay to sit out of all the things. And when you're starting to change your relationship with alcohol, you might need to say no a lot more in the beginning. And that's okay. It doesn't have to last forever. You can gradually add things back in, but you are the most important thing here. And you know what taxes you and what doesn't. So letting yourself feel like you're missing out is an important way and thing to work on as you explore the relationship with alcohol that you want to have. All right, my friends, I love you all so much, and I'll talk to you next week. Hey, it's Angela. I want you to check out angelamascenik.com/aliveaf. You know what it's like to have a desire to cut back on your drinking, right? You start to read books, listen to podcasts, try things, but you might not be able to yet put all the pieces and suggestions together in a way that actually makes sense and works for you. You might struggle with beating yourself up after an overdrink. You might get frustrated with yourself when you take 2 steps forward and then another 2 steps back, and get overwhelmed with what's right and wrong about your relationship with alcohol. Your friends tell you that you should be able to have just 1 drink, and it isn't a big deal. You might be white-knuckling through urges and resisting instead of peacefully processing them. And you might struggle with your identity as someone who has enjoyed having a lot of wine or alcohol in your life. It's around you all the time. It's what you do and who you are. Well, after 5 years of successfully coaching hundreds of women through these struggles, I have created the Alive AF membership, where women like you can learn the basics on what it takes to cut back and reach your goals with alcohol, whether it is to just drink less or totally quit. And when you join, you will get the exact framework I used to change my own relationship with alcohol and still use today, that has led me to be alcohol-free for over 5 years. You're going to get access to my resources, videos, and worksheets that have been proven to change and reduce how much you drink. Every day you can ask questions, share your obstacles, and get coaching and direct support on the challenges you will face with love and no judgment. Also, you will get immediate access to workshops like uncovering your alcohol identity and changing it, how to say no to things that don't support your new identity or life or goals, aka boundaries, a workshop called Creating Emotional Agency, and another one, How to Manage Your Mind to Succeed at Your Goals, and more. Every month we have a brand new workshop. These workshops are filled with step-by-step prompts and instruction to help you create the exact relationship with alcohol that is best for you. My mission and vision for Alive AF is to be a hub of support and resources for women to come and learn how to do what is best for them and becoming more alive in the process. When you join, you're going to learn how to take care of yourself better, how to feel good and become more alive and go after the life that you really want. I want this membership to be affordable and an easy solution where you can get all the help you need in one simple place whenever you need it. So no need to go read another book, find a new podcast, attend a free webinar, or go down the path of piecemealing it all together. Join Alive AF and have it all there in one place for you anytime you need it. So go to angelamascenik.com/AliveAF and enrollment is open right now. See you inside.